The exchange of rings is now essential to every wedding ceremony. However, it has not always been the case. In ancient times, a wedding ring was only for a man to give his wife. He wouldn't wear one on his own finger. The history of wedding rings can be traced back to ancient Egypt, where pharaohs first used rings to represent eternity. The idea came from the fact that a circle has no beginning and no end. Ancient Egyptians also thought the open space in the middle of a ring represented a gateway to the unknown. In ancient Egyptian culture, only the bride wore the wedding ring. She wore it on the fourth finger of her left hand, which ancient Egyptians believed contained a vein directly leading to the heart. Thousands of years later, scientists discovered that all veins lead to the heart. However, the old tradition remains. The fourth finger of the left hand is still called the ring finger. The Egyptian tradition was first adopted in the West after Alexander the Great conquered Egypt. Around 300 years later, the Romans conquered Greece and picked up on this tradition. Initially, Romans used iron and copper rings in marriage ceremonies. By the 2nd century, however, most rings were gold. In the 12th century, the Christian Church established a wedding ceremony where there would be the exchange of rings. Then it became the rule that no man should place any type of ring on a woman's hand unless he meant to get married. Probably around the same time, two different types of rings emerged, namely the more personal engagement ring and the church-sanctioned wedding ring. The Christian Church promoted exchanging wedding rings as a way of keeping men faithful. Even so, most men didn't wear their wedding rings on a daily basis until World War II. That was when American and European soldiers wore wedding rings as a way to remember their wives back at home. It was in the mid-20th century when dual wedding rings became mainstream in the West and westernized Asian countries. Nowadays, wedding rings always come in pairs. What can represent the union of two loving hearts better than two identical rings that's been regarded as symbols of eternity for thousands of years?